It's a terrible thing. The judge was arrested because he was housing a trendy Iroquois, right? Is that the one you're talking about? It's pretty surprising. It's terrible. The border is the most secure it's ever been. We're having a very hard time with judges because they don't want people to be moved out of the country. Shockingly, nobody's ever had this before, no other president. There's never been a time when this has ever become an issue, where they talk about due process, when you have millions of people that you're moving out that are really bad people, very dangerous people, and you have a judge that wants every single one of them to have a trial. So they want us to have millions of trials, therefore. And how long does the trial take? Weeks? The trial can take weeks. That's not what it's about. That's not what our country's about. And that's not what I got elected on. And these are judges that just want to, show how big and important they are. They're local federal judges, and they shouldn't be allowed to do it. We have hundreds of thousands of people that we want to get out of the country. And the courts are holding us back. Some judge that nobody ever heard of is holding us back. It's very dangerous for our country. I mean, you want to see a country that'll have crime? Let that happen, because it's really dangerous for our country, and I can't believe the Supreme Court would let that stand.
Thank you.
I'm here to tell you, after 6 weeks of unconstitutional trials, we have finally found a crime. Michael Cohen admitted on the witness stand just this morning to 6 different felonies of stealing Donald Trump's money. After 6 weeks of trial, we finally have a crime. We also have a victim. That victim is Donald J. Trump.
Place your hand on the Gita and raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear
I, Kash Patel, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
There will be accountability within the FBI and outside of the FBI, and we will do it through rigorous constitutional oversight starting this weekend.
Yeah.
This is a power move by the Trump administration, which sends a message to all Americans that nobody is safe under this administration. Up until now, we've seen a lot of the immigration actions really serving almost like slapping democracy around. This is a stab in the wound of democracy. I believe that Judge Dugan, just like every other law enforcement or officer of the court, should have the right to protect the due process rights of the people who were before her. Obviously, this is now going to go to the courts, but the fact that this Trump administration decided to arrest a sitting judge at the courthouse also escalates the threat that nobody is safe at a courthouse, which means more and more people will basically give up their right to go before the court, give up their right, that treasured right to have a fair day in court, because they will be afraid of whether they will be detained, whether they're a citizen or a non-citizen. There's the shock and awe approach, the fear mongering, there's the test balloons. And I think this is part of the Trump administration trying to send a strong message, a bullying message, frankly, to state and local governments that they too are at risk of being detained. So we don't know who the next people on the list will be. Is it a sit-in mayor who has a so-called sanctuary policy in place, or the local sheriff in Asheville, North Carolina, for example, that is trying to keep all of their residents safe, particularly in a community that was devastated by a hurricane, but who the Trump administration has threatened with taking away their FEMA money if they don't rescind that sanctuary policy. And so again, we're seeing a struggle, a power and legal struggle between the federal government under the Trump administration and states and localities, which bring us closer and closer every single day to a constitutional crisis. This administration has already decided to flout judicial orders, to not listen and to not follow decisions by sitting judges at the federal court level. And this latest arrest of a sitting judge sends a chilling effect to all of us who are part of the legal profession. And frankly, I believe that it should send a chilling effect to all Americans as well.
She knows the law. She knows the law. And I would remind everybody, she deserves due process. So do the people that she might have been protecting. Everyone, it's a human right, is due process.
Like every person charged with any crime in the United States of America, while we have due process rights, Judge Dugan also has a due process rights, and part of that is to exercise her constitutional rights, to declare herself not guilty, to exercise the Fifth Amendment. I mean, she will be working with her lawyer and her legal defense team to understand what the charges are and exercise her rights just as any defendant would be. I also think that this is a moment for the legal profession, for the American Bar Association, for other judges, for law firms, for all of us, frankly, to be standing up and saying, this is unacceptable in the United States of America. This is un-American, the efforts that this administration is taking to chill every single person's rights, not just immigrants, but U.S. citizens as well, including a sitting judge.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Let the judge be released. No justice, no peace. Let the judge be released. No justice.
Immigrants are really collateral damage. What this is truly about is actually chipping away and eroding our democracy in the rule of law. And we've now seen that play out day after day. And so this is a call to all Americans who care about our democracy, who care about future generations continuing to live in a democracy where the rule of law and due process rights continue to be, and where we have that independence of the judiciary separate and apart from the executive. I have to say, the legislative branch seems to have given up on their constitutional authority as the third branch for checks and balances, but I still trust in the judiciary, which I think is exactly why President Trump and the FBI director, Kash Patel, have gone after a judge to show that even judges are not safe in our country. And that is a dangerous, dangerous time in our history of our country.
No peace. Judge Dugan will be free. No justice. No peace. Judge Dugan will be free.
She knows the law. She knows the law. And I would remind everybody, she deserves due process. So do the people that she might have been protecting. Everyone, it's a human right, is due process. Number two, we will not be intimidated. Not now, not ever. Right. In fact, the last thing I'll say is that this is going to make us work even harder, even stronger, and march even louder and longer on May 1st. This will help us to work harder, longer, stronger, and louder.
We're here today to implore our elected leader colleagues, to implore community leaders to stand with us and stand with Wisconsinites, with immigrant Wisconsinites, with all immigrants across Milwaukee and beyond, because this is unbelievable. I'm shocked that the federal government would do this